Broncos country, how y'all doing? Welcome to another episode of Bourbon, Broncos and No B.S. We got Jared, David, John. It's going to be a sick night of Broncos conversation. So make sure you post your comments and questions for the crew as we break down everything from last week's loss to the Chiefs yet again. Happy Sweet 16th, by the way, everybody. 16 straight losses. So celebrate with sadness and loneliness and just anyway. But we'll still have some fun. And if you guys want to hear and learn about the perfect tanning lotion and tanning spray used for muscle man competitions, Jared has got you covered. He's going to share that with us later and give you the secret to get ready for your next muscle man competition. So get ready for that, guys. Welcome to Bourbon, Broncos and No B.S.
Orange Weekly, fans, brews, and Broncos news.
Okay, Broncos country, let's do it. Let's talk about the Broncos. No matter how sad we are, there's still some stuff to talk about. But let's get the crew going. Jared, good sir, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing good. The roller coaster of emotions over the past, couple months at this point, have me wondering who I want to be tonight. I'm either going to be optimistic Jared, dead inside Jared, or just angry at the world Jared. So I'm going to let you guys decide which one I'm going to be, because honestly, if it's up to me, I'm just going to kind of go all in between all three of them tonight.
Yeah, like it. John, man, what do you think?
My vote, first of all, is optimistic, Jared, because I think we're going to need that.
Yes.
But I understand how you're going to jump. I could see how you would jump between all of them. Good to see you guys. It's been a while. Jared and David, hope you had some good time off, not thinking about the Broncos for a week. I know you can't stop thinking about them, but luckily you weren't in the States thinking about them. So I hope you guys enjoyed your vacation.
Well, I was, but Jared wasn't, and Jared hasn't had the worst of it for sure. We'll see how much of that story he wants to tell. I caught some of that Chiefs game, and for a while was mildly surprised, and then at the end it was the outcome we all expected, right? So ready to move on, ready to embrace the tank, and we'll get into all of that. But I might annoy you worse than Jared tonight, because I am fully ready to move on from 2023 as a football year.
Okay.
That's unlike you, David.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, it's only week 7, and we're already talking like it's December,
More like we wish it was.
Well, because we all wish it was.
I don't want the offseason to get here sooner, but this
can we just
something else?
A full year. Just fast forward a full year. Let's go to the draft of next year tomorrow.
Yeah, I'd love it.
Time travel to April, May, whenever. Let's do that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the last week's game. Short week. Like you guys all said, and we talked about on the post game podcast. Not a lot of expectations, or zero expectations for the Broncos. If anything, just let's hope that it's not another repeat of Broncos versus Miami, right?
Okay.
But what we saw there was very confusing. John and I talked about it, but I want to hear your guys' thoughts as well. I was very confused in the first half in terms of why we were still in the game, and really the majority of all of the game, if not the majority. I think my question still is: were the Chiefs playing off that night, or were we playing good on defense? That was a big surprise, and we'll get to why that makes the offensive struggle so much more frustrating. But what happened that night, man? I mean, it was really interesting to see that it was the bend up but don't break, and we were staying in the game. Jared, what do you think?
Well, I decided I'm going to do all of them, and I'm going to announce which one I'm going to do before I go into my monologue. So this is Dead Inside. This is Dead Inside, Jared.
Okay, I'll get my whiskey.
Sean, we'll get to this in a minute.
Dead Inside Jared says that the Chiefs played down to the Broncos. It wasn't that our defense was just doing really well. They played down to their opponent, and I hate saying that, and I hate being on this end of that. Normally we're saying that about the other team, or our team playing down. They played down to us. It wasn't that our defense did an extraordinary job. There was a couple good plays. We got a couple sacks in there, which was really nice to see. There's a couple really good edge rushes, speed edge rushes, which I was really surprised at and happy with. But overall, they just played down. They weren't playing top level offense like they're used to. It's a Thursday game, short time to prepare for it. So on offense on both sides, you saw the short time to prepare really kind of just screwed both of us. Yeah, us more because we lost.
Well, yeah. I'll tell you. I mean, what it looked like to me was the defense is just regressing to the mean as far as being a bad defense. Because they're bad this year at defense. But there was definitely some element of Kansas City playing down to the Broncos. But they are not the historically bad defense maybe that they've been over that they were over the first 4 weeks. They're just a really bad defense. And so that's kind of what I think.
That's progress. We call that progress here, David.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's progression for sure. So, but I think that's what we're seeing.
And that's fair. I don't know how to judge this defense yet. We'll see what comes from this game going up against the Packers. But we'll get into all of that here, within the hour. But this defense, the Chiefs have looked susceptible. That's the word.
There it is.
Starting out strong, 6 minutes in. That's a tough word. Come on, guys.
No, yeah.
This year, though, so I don't know if it's as much as the Chiefs not looking like themselves. Now, they've done this in seasons past where they take some stretch of the season and just people start questioning them, and then they still end up winning the Super Bowl.
Johnny, go lay down.
I feel like that happened last year.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And we almost beat them last year. I want to think that our defense is figuring things out. My question to you, Jared, is what the hell happened to this offense? We were running the ball so well. Why weren't we able to take advantage of that in the pass game?
A couple things, and it's the same reason you see us sucking in the second half. It's because Sean Payton is a planner. He's really good at scouting. He does a lot of study work on the defenses. He knows how to pick apart defenses in the first half because that's what he does his whole for prep. He didn't have prep for this game. He had 3 days of prep. And I think that he just didn't get to see the holes in the defense that he could on a full week's of study time. You also got to think the game was in Kansas City, right? So they were traveling from the Jets from New York to Kansas City. Or was it the Jets? Was the Jets game in Denver? Or was it? Okay, yeah. So, anyways, you had a travel day in there. So, how much study can you really do? You could do a little study on the plane, whatever. But really, getting the whole team ready to go. You have probably really 2 days of film study after the game on Sunday, and then basically Monday morning until that or after that practice, and then that's it. And then you got to get ready to start travels and stuff like that. So, I think what we saw is our team is really good when we can prepare. And we've seen it all season. When we can prepare,
questionable.
Yeah, but no, I mean, we've scored on how many of our first drives?
Oh,
or first or second drives.
The offense is really good.
The offense, yeah, I'm talking about the offense. So on first or second drives, we're really good because we could prepare for the defense. We know what we're looking at, and then as soon as they make adjustments, all of a sudden it's what happened in the second half? It's the same thing that happened in Kansas City. We just didn't have time to really prepare what we needed to prepare, so we didn't start off strong. And we obviously didn't finish strong. So I think that's a lot of it of what we saw as far as being able to identify what we're attacking.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's interesting because we didn't really address the short week on the post-game show as far as the Broncos lens goes. We addressed it for the Chiefs, and maybe that's why they weren't firing on all cylinders on offense. But I was thinking about that afterwards and was maybe that's why we weren't doing as well on offense as well. But the reverse of that is maybe that's why the Chiefs weren't taking advantage of our defense like we've seen basically every week this year prior to this game. Just our defense looking so easy to read.
Yeah.
I want to get to some of the comments here. It's a great conversation, everyone. Allison, glad you're here. Thank you for joining. Let's see. You
already did that one.
Oh, I did that one. Okay. Clayton is here with the, make sure everybody is liking and sharing this video. And of course, a blank comment means that we have been given a donation. So Everyone, if you want to donate some stars to us through Facebook, if you want to donate, that's great. We definitely appreciate it. Jared over there needs to buy some more tanning lotion. As I'll explain to you earlier on in the show, he'll explain to you why he needs it and what he's getting and stuff like that. So that's what the money's going for right now. So I appreciate it. Thank you, Clayton. Let's see. Embracing the suck, man. That's exactly what we got to do. No offense.
That's a military guy, if you know it.
Yeah.
We all know Key's the military guy, but that's definitely a military saying for sure.
If you aren't, someone that is. That's a very
good
Here's a question from Sean that is really important right now because we are getting to the trade deadline here in just a couple weeks. And does revolve around what we saw in last Thursday night game in terms of, did players' stock go up, go down based off of that? And these are things that teams are really looking at. So when we're looking at trading, there's a lot of different things right now. People saying, let's, trade everybody that would give us any kind of draft pick. People saying, let's just maybe trade one person, maybe two, but hold on to the majority of the team. I don't know, guys. Where are you at with that? Jared, what do you think?
So I don't know which one this is. Probably more of a melancholy Jared, but overall, I know this is angry Jared because here's the problem. You know who was not playing a lot in the Kansas City game? You know who had probably I think 18% of the offensive snaps? Our number one wide receiver.
Oh, something.
Marvin Mims had 18% of the offensive snaps. It was absolutely ridiculous. And then when they asked Sean Payton about it, he was like, we're trying to get the ball on the right hands. And, it's why is the number one receiver who holds all the stats for our whole year not in the game and not even getting a chance to get in the game? Yeah. Which means he's trying to either do one of two things. He's either trying to build trade draft value or trade value for Jerry Jeudy and Courtland Sutton, which is what I think it really is going on. Especially Jeudy. They targeted Jeudy a lot that game.
A ton.
And they're trying to build up that trade capital to show him what he can do. And I think Jerry Jeudy is probably one of the first to go. I think there's only a couple people fully safe, and I think there's a lot of the NFL that are mad that people are saying that we're going to trade away Sutton. I don't think that's the thing. I think he's a safe bet to keep. Other than that, though, Jeudy, unfortunately, Sutton is probably on that list of people we're getting rid of. Those are the two big ones I can think of that are really good athletes that are probably going to go. That's all I got.
You guys think?
I don't know. I don't think Simmons is safe.
I was going to say that's a name that people throw out.
Another one. That's another one.
Yeah, I think if anybody is safe at all, it's Surtain. And I think if somebody calls about Surtain and says, "I'll give you 2 first-round picks for him," you have to at least ask yourself, how late are you going to be picking in the first round before you say no?
Right.
Yeah. But no, I think that if we have any safe players, we have one. And I think everybody else for the right price could be had at this point. I think Sean Payton, I don't think George Payton's long for his job. I think Sean Payton is going to bring in a GM next year who is basically a figurehead. And he takes the draft the exact way he wants it, and we'll just see how that goes. But that's what I think he wants all the picks, and I think he wants to start fresh with a new roster essentially next year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to take the other side of this with you, David. I think we have about 50 guys that are safe because what teams are going after these guys? Who realistically can we expect good trade value from at this point? You have the Simmons, of course, that is a guy that, he's been in the league for 6 years now, something like that. He seems like a guy that we actually could get good trade value. Obviously Surtain, but what would be the point of trading Surtain unless you're going to get a ridiculous trade value for that?
That's it. That's the only
thing. You said, first two first round picks would be, no one's doing that for a cornerback these days. But yeah, other than that, I see the Jeudy, but you guys talk about Jeudy. He was only targeted 5 times, at least on the stat sheet. And he caught 3 of those for a whopping 14 yards.
Yeah. Yeah.
Granted, that was, I think, let's see. Almost
was
a
it
quarter.
all in the first half or something like that?
Yeah. Well, those 5 targets were a quarter of our throws. So, I mean, that's a pretty big.
Yeah, that's a decent point.
It's just the fact that we only threw it 22 times.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Between Sutton, you're gonna get more value for Judy, I would assume. Just he's younger, the first round pick. People see what his potential was. But there's just not a ton of guys on this team that I don't know what's going to happen in the next 2 weeks on the trade market for us.
It's going to be interesting. I think there's going to be a whole lot more rumors that come out before anything. I personally am expecting 1, maybe 2 trades. Judy, I would put money down on being the guy that goes. And then if I had to pick a second guy, I would say it'd be Justin Simmons. I don't know who would be offering, really good, trade value for him or whatnot. But I think it'd be the only one that teams know that, we're looking for draft picks. And so if they really want them and bolster their defense, then that's a guy to go after. Right. So it'll be interesting to see for sure. Question here from Josh. Do we think Russell will be traded? No, Russell will not be traded because no team out there is going to want to take on his contract.
No.
So the way this is going to go down is it's about 5 days after the official start of this next year's season. The Broncos would be on the hook, I think, for $17 million of dead cap space or something like that. If we cut them after that, something like that.
You're off on that there, Kevin.
Okay. We're going to have millions of dollars in dead cap space money that we're going to have to pay if we, based off wouldn't cut them and stuff like that. So, and that's just for next year. We still going to have a big pot of money in the dead cap space, the year after that and the year after that.
There you go.
So
you've corrected yourself.
Okay. Well, I'm just talking about next year.
Okay. Well, I'm
yes.
sorry.
17 million this next year. And then there's more after that and that. I just don't know the numbers off the top of my head. But so you're not going to see Russell Wilson get traded at all because nobody's going to want to touch his contract. It's just going to be in the offseason. So the question becomes, are we going into a full rebuild like the Facebook commenter up here? And for anybody, whoever this is, head on over to YouTube, watch our video there. Your name will definitely pop up. I don't know why Facebook does this sometimes. I can't see the name other than just Facebook user. But are we tanking and rebuilding I should say. And where does Russell fall into that? Is he the guy for the future? Are we going to stick him or keep him around, stick him in the roster because we're paying him already? Or do we say we're just going to need that dead cap money and go after somebody in the draft or something like that? Jared.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm dead inside. We are
Embrace
not.
it.
We're gonna
Hug it.
embrace it.
Hug
yeah.
it.
David, you go.
That's okay, Jared. I got you, pal. Listen,
You go.
the Broncos are on a trajectory right now where you have a really good shot at Caleb Williams or Drake May. And it is not just those two guys in this class either. You've got Penix from Washington. You've got Shedeur Sanders. You've got to pick a quarterback if you're picking in the top 5 in this draft. That's just the way it is. And, you can keep Russell Wilson as your bridge quarterback. Don't restructure his contract because that just increases your dead money down the road. Or let him go next year. I don't care at that point. But the trajectory that you're on right now, you're picking high enough that you've got to take a quarterback. And that's cool. You know what? It's cool because it's going to be Sean Payton's quarterback, and let him pick it. Let him develop a guy. See how that goes for you. That'll be fun to watch, right?
It'll be.
I feel like we've been here before, David.
I know.
Kind of, but not really. I don't know.
Look, John, it's what I've got right now. Okay.
I got you. It makes sense. What you said makes sense, but I feel like I might be in hell right now. I don't know. It's like a revolving year after year. What Broncos are we getting? Oh, we're getting the one that doesn't have a quarterback again. Okay. But no, honestly, Russ has not been the problem for me this year so far. He can definitely change my mind. This last game is maybe the start of that because it was his worst game of the season in my mind. The question for me is I don't know what this team is. It's either the Broncos are just really, really bad and Sean Payton hasn't figured out a way to turn this around, or he's a bad coach is one. And taking a year off didn't do him any good. Or 2, we are actually tanking this season. And it seems way too early to be tanking a year away. So it's hard for me. I know all that is out there on social media. I don't believe it yet with Sean Payton and the coach that he is. I need to see this team do something. Like, they find a different way to lose games. For the first 4 weeks, it was defense. And now it's like every week it's either a joint effort or the offense, like it was this last week.
Yeah. Well, then, so speaking of deep, go for it, Jared.
I was going to say, I think the biggest part about, like, if we're looking for the future of Russell Wilson, it's going to be we pick up one of these very deep quarterbacks in this class. But I was just looking at it. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 teams at 1-5 and 1 at 0-6. Like, there's a lot of season left. No one's tanking for anything. This is way too early to tank for anything. You're going to play the best you can. You're going to try to get some trade value. And at some point, maybe if we're doing the trade-off, if we're trying to sell the farm, which is fine, like we end up going on a selling spree, there's a chance that we buy back one of those picks that Chicago has. Chicago's going to have 2 top 5 picks. It's just going to happen. And they're going to sell one of them because there's going to be buyers out there. They're going to get their quarterback naturally. And then there's going to be some buyers out there. So they're going to end up selling that one of those, if not both of them, back. And maybe we're the ones out there that are going to trade up to try to get either Caleb Williams or May out of UNC.
Well, that's a good point, Jared. Like, just because even if we don't tank the season away to get the number 1 pick, doesn't mean we can't, like, manipulate things to get that number 1 pick. I do love how you just gave up on Justin Fields there. Just like it's already a done deal.
Chicago's if Chicago hasn't given up on him, like, let's come on.
Frankly,
now I think he could be a good quarterback. Like, I'm not giving up on him specifically, but in general.
Frankly, the Patriots make me nervous. I mean, they have looked bad this year, and like Mac Jones looks effing terrible, and so bad that Bill Belichick looks like he might get fired. And so, I mean, that could be a sneaky competitor out there, but we'll see how that goes. Let me ask you guys, and Kevin just brings up the Caleb Williams looks bad against Notre Dame. I'm not a big college football watcher, guys. I don't really know week to week how these guys are doing. He's the top prospect I hear mentioned. But what do you guys think? I mean, and I think we can all agree that the players and the coaches, there's no tanking, quote unquote. They're going to go out there. They go out there and try to do their jobs every week and win a game. But yeah, from a front office standpoint, you can trade players, like Jared was saying. You can do other things to try, like John was saying, you can trade your way up into the draft if you need to. What do you guys want for the rest of the season at this point? Do you want to see the Broncos win more games? And I'm not, even though I'm embracing the tank, I'm not going to say that's an invalid opinion or you shouldn't want that.
Yeah. For me, it's really...
It's an invalid opinion. You shouldn't want that, David.
Great. Good, Jared. I love it.
No, I think the more important thing is looking at the talent, the young players on the team, getting them chances to go and prove themselves and essentially make a case why they should stick with the team next year. There's the veterans just aren't doing it. They're not stepping up. It's the rookies, the year 2, the year 3 guys that are, really making the biggest impact on the team every week. So at this point, look, if it leads to more wins and then we get a worse draft pick, I don't care. To me, going all in on one person for a draft pick, it's just such a gamble, right? It doesn't matter even if they get picked number 1 overall, if they're going to be any good, right? If they're actually going to pan out or not. So I'm not all in on that, but whatever the case is, I would like us to win some more games, not just because it's fun, but build some confidence up, right? Put the young guys out there, get them the confidence, get them those reps, those live reps in the game, win some games, make them feel good about themselves. And now you have some momentum, at least some positive things going on into the offseason versus we finished 1-16. We get a really good draft pick. Yay, whoop-de-doo. But now we're a team that was 1-16. And really, what do we have to show for it other than a higher draft pick? So that's it.
I have so many points. One, Kevin, I disagree.
How many?
Get him, Jared.
Quantify it. How many points are you gonna make?
He just
2. I said 2. I quantified it already. I said I'm going to make 2
you said so
points.
Many. I heard so many.
I said so many. Can you just, John? Can you? Okay.
Get him, Jared.
He came in hot. I wanted to come out back at you.
The first point is, Kevin, you're wrong. And not wrong. I just disagree. I don't think that we just let our young guys play. I think we play it not like a preseason games where it's like starters first, and then we're gonna put in our secondary guys. It's gonna be a secondary team. I think we mix and match, because the other thing I don't want is I don't want some of these young guys who are probably gonna be with us for a long time getting hurt. Like, I want them to get the live reps.
That's not a
but
problem.
we're getting a lot of injuries
Denver
going on
teams.
right now.
Denver teams never have injury issues. What are you talking about?
Look, higher, Jared. Take the octave higher. I need Jared. I need down that voice.
I just broke everybody's speakers. But what I don't want, but yeah, absolutely get those guys reps, but don't just take your veteran guys out of the game and be like, okay, yeah, you're not playing well. Let's get some interactive, and I think that's something that's gonna happen as we move on. And here's the thing about it. Realistically, David, to answer your question, what I want is, I want us to kind of be bad for a while, and then ultimately, we'll end up getting with a higher draft pick, and we end up trading some people, and we start over, and we end up having something that David, me, and you have talked about on the pregame podcast, like we should have did 4 years ago.
Yeah,
is kind of started over and fresh, and we stopped trying to build with these outside of the free agency. But we sold our soul to Russell Wilson. We sold our soul for Sean Payton, and we are where we are. But now we have draft picks back, so we want that. Realistically, what's going to happen? We're going to somehow find a way to go 500 or just under 500. We're going to get like a middle round, we're going to miss the playoffs. We're going to get a middle of the round draft pick, and we're going to be picking 14th or 15th in the draft. And
see, and
that's
Kevin,
where we're going to be.
I have to ask, to your last point, and I'm sorry, John, but I have to ask this. To your last point,
why are you apologizing to me?
Because I'm stepping on your. We'll be back to that. Kevin, you say, what's the point of doing all that except for a higher draft pick? What do you have to show for it? You have the higher draft pick. Because what do you do at this point if you go 8 and 9? What do you have to show for that? What Jared just said.
Confidence. Momentum.
Confidence and momentum for what? For what?
Look,
because we're getting rid of
there is
everybody.
a guy in the draft that you really want, you go get him, right? But I'm not going to say that we should purposely lose.
It's a lot easier when you have that number 1 pick.
Or number 2 or number 3.
And the Broncos have never had the number 1 overall pick based off of losing.
If we've learned anything,
I want to keep it that way.
If we've learned anything, this is a season worth breaking records for.
Kevin
I
just jinxed
want that
us.
list to get longer.
Kevin just jinxed us by saying it out loud.
The things we have on there already are bad enough. We don't need
all
more.
in one season.
How did the Broncos finish last year?
Season, we could just forget 2023 ever happened.
David, they ended on a win against the Chargers, and everybody was amped. Okay,
Great.
That's how they ended the season.
And so there's your momentum, and now we're 1 and 5.
Yeah.
What happened?
Hold on.
New coach.
Let me back up. The last time I was excited about momentum was when Drew Lock went 4 wins out of 5 at the end of the season. Look how that played out for us.
Yeah, exactly.
Not real.
When I bought my Drew Lock jersey, and it's still why did I spend money on it?
Not to add salt to the wound there, Jared, but Drew Lock looked pretty good when he came into the game this week or last week. I don't know. He just was doing his normal thing, but.
Yeah, so did Brett Rippon when he came in as a backup.
But I've been saying if he was on the Broncos, it couldn't be that much worse than the $240 million contract that we gave to Russ.
I plead the fifth. You know how I feel about Russ. It's baiting. You're baiting, John.
Yeah. Well,
phrasing, maybe we phrase that a little differently.
Let's just address the elephant that's in the room that just only got louder this week. The only reason we're talking about the Broncos tanking right now, besides the product on the field, let's be honest, but is the fact that 11 months ago, we had our coach, Sean Payton, who at the time was not an NFL coach and an analyst for, I think, Fox, I don't know, something like that, saying this was the player that was going to start the conversation of should we have a lottery system in the NFL? And that was Caleb Williams. And everyone is considering him the lock to be the number 1 pick in the draft. And so you have that mixed with the product you're seeing on the field. Now, granted, he did say, and we said this in the postgame show, He did say week 12, week 15 would be the team the time teams would start tanking.
Yeah.
He didn't say week 6. So I'm giving him some benefit of the doubt there.
Yeah.
But it seems too early for all of the tanking conversation.
In general, regardless you're a coach or not, like the way that the draft works, as opposed to like the NHL or something like that, it is kind of rough. Like, do you guys remember the Suck for Luck campaign?
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I remember that vividly. It was Miami and Indy. It was Tank for Tua, and it was Miami and Indy doing the Suck for Luck campaign. There was like billboards. Like, people bought billboards to try to talk the team, try to like motivate the team to suck so they can get their number 1 pick. And I'm pretty sure Miami won that game, and Indy ended up getting Drew Luck. Andrew Luck.
It's crazy. Look, it'll be interesting, and in the second half of the season, I do expect to be different. I mean, look, we have Green Bay this week, and then we got the Chiefs again at home before our bye week. But then we go on the road to Buffalo, so things aren't going to get any easier for this Broncos team. And if they want to do anything positive, I mean, they got to start figuring it out sooner rather than later. Otherwise, this conversation is going to be a moot point, and they're going to have a top 5 pick. They might, and be able to trade up to number 1 and all that stuff. So, but really quickly, I know we're a family show here at Orange Weekly. There's just some language that I don't appreciate. And look, Ashley, glad you're here, but war damn Eagle. Like, that's just the way it is. So anyway, I don't know.
What is happening?
I don't know.
Hold on. No, time out. We're talking about this. Kevin, I've never heard you root for literally any football team in college except for the Air Force.
Yeah. I like Auburn if I have to pick. Yeah.
I'm sorry. We're talking about Jerry Judy. We're talking about Jerry Judy, Alabama.
We're talking about
Pat Surtain, Alabama.
I don't care.
What role?
I don't care.
I'm not going to say we're roll tide here, but why are we just calling people out for being Alabama fans? Now,
Kevin always did have a weird Cam Newton thing. Remember?
I did.
Yeah. He was a weird.
Cam Newton.
Tank for Cam. That was his thing. Yeah.
Awesome. It's awesome. Yeah. So before we move on to the Green Bay game, though, there is one more topic of conversation, and I think the question boils down to: did the defense do enough this last week to lock in Vance Joseph as the defensive coordinator for the rest of the year?
I think we're asking the question wrong.
Okay.
Because the defense didn't do or not do. Last week's performance of the defense was not going to be the measure of whether Vance Joseph gets through the rest of the season, I don't think. I don't think there's literally no reason to fire Vance Joseph right now, unless you want to follow the Kevin route of finish 7-10 or 6-11 or 8-9 and build momentum for next year. No, what are we doing?
Yeah. No, I agree. I at this point, there's no reason getting rid of him. I think this would have been the bye week maybe, but there's the rumors of Rex Ryan, and really it's like, what is Rex Ryan going to do?
Don't let me soapbox.
Huh?
Don't make me soapbox, Kev.
Soapbox, Jared. Go.
Okay, I'm going to soapbox. This isn't fair.
Ashley. I'm sorry. There's multiple Ashleys in here, so yeah, I'm confusing people.
John, you want to go before I soapbox? I'll soapbox, but you go first.
No, I want to know which Jared we're going to get in this soapbox.
Oh, angry soapbox. Yeah, this is definitely angry Jared. Yeah, so okay, first of all, Vance Joseph's not going anywhere this season. Stop it. Second of all, if he does go somewhere, it's not to pick up somebody out of nowhere. It's probably to promote like the DB coach or someone else to be the interim coach until the end of the year. Like, we're not going out of our way to try to get a defensive coordinator right now. And Rex Ryan's absolutely not going to be it. After, again, all these analysts, you're a coach for a while, and then you go be an analyst, and you come back to being a coach. Obviously hasn't worked out for a lot of people. Sean Payton. But others, right? And so you got to look at who is the dude for the Raiders, ended up being the general manager. I mean, the head coach for the Raiders, Gordon.
The Raiders aren't doing well.
Yeah, the Gruden, and then he pulled in an old analyst as a GM. He did terrible. Like, obviously that did awful. Anyways, but we're not going to go get Rex Ryan because he went on whatever show he does, and he said after we got spanked by the Dolphins, he said on there, he goes, I wish they would have hired the other person that they interviewed, talking about himself. And that defense would have been a lot better if I would have been there. Right. No head coach. No, like if you were an employer and somebody said that about you, like, well, you should have hired me. You're not going to be like, you know what?
Yeah,
you're
actually.
Right.
Let me go get you. And I'm going to bring you on. And then they're going to dangle it over your little head, like for the rest of your life. Like, it's going to be like, I told you so. I told you so. Like, we're not going to do that. And Sean Payton's not going to do that because that power struggle would be bad.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, nonsense.
Is your soapbox done or?
I'm off my soapbox. Yeah.
Okay. But
get him.
Okay. It'd be a different story if they I don't know why these rumors are coming out this week. I mean, I get it. It's like the mini bye because we have 10 days between games, which is probably the reason why. But like our defense was not the problem in this game, right? Am I crazy? So like, why are we gonna? This game solidified that Vance Joseph at least had, this mini bye. Like he wasn't gonna get fired during that time, but. If we're gonna make a change there, we'll see how the next 2 games go. And then the bye week would be the next indicator. And after that, what's the point? Like head coach is when you make a statement. It's not defensive coordinator. I don't know. I just don't see it happening after. If it doesn't happen in the bye week, it's not going to happen in my opinion.
And like I said, if it does happen, we're not going out. If it does happen, it's going to be a statement of like, all right, man, it's not working out. Maybe give one of these young guys a chance to prove themselves to maybe be optioned to either be next year or go somewhere else and be a DC somewhere else.
And to your point, Jared, like if it's going to be a guy like Rex Ryan, like do it after the Dolphins game. Make it a statement game. Like fucked up after the first 4 weeks. We should have had this guy the whole time, and that way you can save your credibility a little bit and be like, okay, this should have been the guy the whole time. We just picked the wrong one. It was down to these 2. I don't know. Make a point of it.
Yeah.
Right.
David, thoughts?
You guys have said it all. I think we're all just about around the issue of whether Vance Joseph goes, whether he stays, how much at fault he is. I don't
know. We got 20 minutes left. I think we could really delve into this some more. What do you I'm just kidding.
We could.
We are going to move on.
There's a whole nother game to discuss in this.
There's a whole nother game to discuss.
Yes.
There's 11 whole other games to discuss.
No, not today. Not today, David.
No, not today.
David, when you put it that way, it sounds depressing. I'm going back to dead inside, Jared, real fast.
Be optimistic about the way we just lost this game.
I'm just you guys. Green Bay.
What question do you want me to ask at the post-game press conference? Let me put that. I can't ask. Never mind. But I am hoping for a win, so it's not sad in that room after the game. But we'll see.
Fuck around and find out.
Yeah, exactly. So with this game, I guess I want to know, what are your guys' concerns? Maybe your number 1, number 2 concern, and why is it Tyler Davis, the tight end? Because we know he's going to be open in the middle of the field all game. Jared, go.
Okay, so first of all, not all tight ends are going to be wide open.
I'm going to guess him. I'm going to guess it's him that's going to be open all game.
Yeah, sorry. That statement made me question. What was your question? Yeah, what was the question?
What is your biggest concern with this game? And I'm just talking about why we can't cover the middle of the field. But anyway,
my biggest concern with the game is that we're 1-5 and that we haven't found a way to stop any offense, regardless of who's at quarterback.
We held the Chiefs to under 20 in Kansas City.
We hold them, or did the Chiefs hold themselves? Like, I mean, we did an okay job. We did an okay job, and obviously it was a full week. I expect this to be a little bit higher scoring because of the more prep in the week, specifically on our side. But I still don't trust it. One game out of the 6 that we've played, we've held somebody under 20, and we played some really bad quarterbacks. Like, I just don't. I mean, I think we were the bounce back game for much better.
I am going to give some credit to the defense, like very minimal, to be clear, in the Jets game. Like, I do not blame the defense as much as I do in the first 4 games when it comes to the Jets game. They didn't. I'm not saying they should have won us the game, but. Anyways, continue with your thought.
My thought is that I'm nervous about this game, and it's going to be hard to record the pregame podcast because I don't know what to expect from anybody. It's been so inconsistent on every level. Like, there's nobody playing consistently. Not a single player on the Broncos is playing either consistently good or consistently bad. And it is so sad. Like, I don't know what to think.
Yeah. 100%
I'll tell
agree with Jared. And I made this point on the post-game show. It's like, I think I said this earlier. I don't know what this team is. I don't understand what this 2023 Broncos team is. I don't know if we're tanking. I don't know if we're actually trying to win games anymore. Like, it's so frustrating because at times the defense looks good. Like, very few times. It is only the last game, let's be honest. At times the offense looks good most of the year, and at times the special teams looks good, and that's mostly Marvin Mims. So I want to see us, like, let's do more to get these young guys involved, get these get Marvin Mims involved, get Jaleel McLaughlin involved. Like, but what do I expect from this game? I expect a good time because I'm going to be there and I'm going to be happily drunk. Whether it's me making fun of the Broncos for being so terrible, or me let's be real. Like, this Packers team it's not like this is a guaranteed win for them. It shouldn't be, right? Like,
shouldn't be.
For them, they're looking at this as like, okay, this could be a rebound game for us, but we should be looking at this as, okay, maybe this is where we all bring it all together and, like, accelerate for the rest of the season from this game. So it's so hard. It's so hard to tell what's going to happen with this team.
I'll tell you what makes me nervous. Aaron Jones has not played for the Packers in the first 5 games of the season, but he's coming back for this one. And every team, but it is. And every team except the Chiefs have been able to run all over the Broncos. And I'm just dreading that. Yeah.
I am dreading it too, but we held the Chiefs, and, like, we've allowed bad running backs. Well, okay, I shouldn't say that. Teams that haven't been, like, strong running teams to do. We've allowed those teams to do well against us, and then we held the Chiefs. So, again, there's momentum there. And by holding, I mean Pacheco got 90 yards, not 150 yards.
Yeah. Sure. There we go.
Look, it's the point is, for me too, and John, I'm right there. I don't know what to expect from this team. Are they going to be able to stop the run game and look good on defense? I don't know. Or are they going to let them run all through us, then let Jones get 200 yards and 2 touchdowns and all this? I don't know. It's really could be either of those situations or anything in between. They're just so inconsistent with their play. The one thing that is consistent is we know that they're going to play zone absolutely no matter what. And it doesn't matter if Green Bay finds a guy that's always open. That guy is going to be open, and we're going to let them, do it. Part of that is, look, pass rush was better this last week. But again, are we going to be able to continue that moving into this week? If we can get to the pass rush, then, the zone works better because we're putting the quarterback under duress. But when you can't do that and you give them 5, 6, 7 seconds in the pocket and allow them to roll out and do all these things, plenty of time to read the field and find an open guy. So, Jared.
I figured it out. I figured out where there's a consistently terrible play, and there's I haven't seen 1 ounce of okay, they could be good, other than every other position except for the interior defensive line. I have not seen the interior defensive line get pressure on pass rushes. It's always been the edge.
Yep.
I haven't even seen like a push. Like, I haven't seen somebody control the center to push him back in the quarter. Like, nothing. I've seen nothing on the interior defensive line. Maybe on some run plays, they've gotten a couple stops, broke a tackle or broke a block, but that's really disappointing. And unfortunately for this game, their tackles are pretty good. And so their interior offensive line is what's struggling. So we have an option, and either we're going to finally show that we can do something against a porous interior offensive line, or it's going to be their chance to step up and show that they are better than they look on paper. And David agrees that's probably going to be that one.
Well, if you're talking about looking good on paper, yes, Air Force, and I am Air Force, is undefeated. Jared, I'm not sure how you went from being in the Navy to being a train conductor, but I would trade you a first round pick for that hat. So
I appreciate that.
I think they're taking the hat as a train conductor hat. And
yeah,
Jared, I think you would make a very good train conductor.
Thank you, John.
Best looking ever.
Like, if there's ever a job for a train conductor, I will let you know, because I think you could do that very well.
Please do.
I feel
like all I have to do is sit there and like
that's all
the train conductor does. There's a lot to
Literally all.
No, that's it. That's
it.
I
just career
forward
around this
and backwards.
Stop.
You are
go and stop.
You are underthinking this position, my friend.
Tell the coal guy, hey,
that are watching this show.
I think Jared is exactly right here. I think he's completely on it.
Okay, anti-train conductor show is what we've become.
I'm gonna down a train simulator and see how this goes for me.
Train conducting is an easy job. There, I said it. Are you happy, John? Are you happy?
And we're officially gonna be kicked off the internet.
I come from a long line of train conductors.
Do you now? A long line of train conductors. Okay. Anyway. Here's one of the other comments I've been seeing a lot.
John in Yiddish is actually train conductor, if you didn't know that.
Yawn?
Well, it's not. It definitely isn't. Yiddish doesn't have a word for train conductor.
Are you for certain about this?
I am, John. I was raised Jewish. Yeah, and it's anyway.
No, I say you're wrong.
I'm going on Joey's comment. No.
Thank you.
What's the point? I don't understand the anti. I understand it from last year, but this year I don't like. What do you want?
Yep.
Except for this game was terrible in his defense.
It's not going to do anything. With the offensive line, the way they're performing, totally underwhelmed by McGlinchey. I just don't see why.
From a pass rush perspective, but the
pass
block.
Yeah. Okay. I'll give you that. They do a good job with the run game,
which is his best attribute, right?
Okay.
But you're still underwhelmed by McGlinchey?
Huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, Jared. You got to go back to the tape if you're not underwhelmed.
Sorry. I'm thinking of McLaughlin. I've had too many.
Oh, yeah.
No. Now you're pulling a Kev. You're pulling a Kev, Dan.
How's it feel?
See that? Wow,
that's like from the other side.
Yeah, that's how that feels. Yeah, sorry, I misheard. You all know I only listen to half of what Kevin says, so all I heard was Mick, and I just was like, "You're underwhelmed." Like, I can't believe it. Like, okay.
I'm going to start testing this out. I'll just start saying random things, see if you pick up on it. Let's see.
Really hate to see it.
What about Jordan Love? What are we looking at here with him and his capabilities? I mean.
Please.
What?
It felt.
Can we talk about the Packers?
Yeah, and it felt like Love was a guy who started that, had a lot of success in the preseason and kind of started the season with confidence. And as it's gone on, and he's faced a little adversity, I feel like he's just gotten a little bit less on target, a little bit more erratic with his throws, a little bit more off schedule in the offense. And so, I think we can exploit that potentially, but it could also be the game where he has a Justin Fields like bounce back performance, and it's the best he's looked all season against a defense. All of these options are on the table.
Yeah,
I'm going to go with the dead inside ladder. I feel like Jordan Love is actually a pretty good quarterback. I think he's got a lot of potential, and he has a lot in him to be able to win games. And I like that he adjusts very well, which is something that we haven't been doing on offense. But I think he's going to end up, if he can have just a little bit of time, just like any quarterback in this league, they're going to be able to pick us apart. And that's exactly what everybody has been doing. I feel like unless we get pressure to him, he's absolutely going to have a field day. It's going to be a bounce back game for him.
Yeah.
And that's understandable, Jared.
But it's
I'm
rough.
glad you took that take so that I don't have to make that take. Let's look at the flip side of that. Like, this is a game that we absolutely could be in, and we could, like, we're at home. We've had 10 days to prepare for this game. The Packers have not looked fantastic going into this game, so it's possible. I'm not confident, by no means. I won't be confident for the rest of the year, I don't think. But this Packers team is looking at this game as like, we need to get right in this game, whereas we're looking at it like, who are we? Again, who are we?
Oh,
No clue.
I have no answer for that. There's the interesting thing is we've talked so many times over the past 7 years about the offense needing to find an identity. And I can't remember who had this quote either last week or the week before, but somebody said, it might have been you. It wasn't you, but I might give you credit for this. Somebody said, Broncos don't have a Russell Wilson problem. They have a Broncos problem. And I think that hits the nail on the head. It's not just the offense that's missing identity.
I don't like it.
It's the whole team. Offense, defense, like, who is this team? We have no idea.
Okay.
I would think that would make it hard to game plan against them, but apparently it makes it really easy because all you have to do is adjust and then, you figured it out. Jared.
Optimistic Jared.
Ooh, whoa.
The Denver Broncos.
The Denver known.
Yeah, I make it known. The Denver Broncos do have an identity. Oh, this escalated quickly. The Denver Broncos do have an identity problem, and it's due to the fact that we've had 4 coaches in the past 6-7 years. We've
two owners.
We've had two owners, 2 or 3 GMs. Our drafting has been kind of in between all these coaches and different ideas of what they expect the team to be like. Yeah, we have an identity problem. We've gone through 5 or 6 mom and dads. Like, of course we do. But if we can stick to one schedule and we can stick to one guy, he's going to keep the people he wants and he's going to move on from the people he doesn't. And eventually we're going to get consistency and it's going to end up being what we would like to see. It's just, we just need that. We don't have an identity because the identity isn't established overnight. It's not established in one day. It's not established in 1 year. And over the past 3 years, we've had 3 different head coaches and 2 different quarterbacks and 100 different offensive linemen. Like, we have to establish some consistency here. Look at, like, and this is going to be a bad take because everyone's going to be mad at me, but look at the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns, outside of the quarterback situation, but the Cleveland Browns are actually winning games. Their defense is very good. Their consistency is better. They had very terrible years, but they're finally building a team that they can build around, like, a couple people outside of their quarterback situation.
Yeah.
And we have a better ownership group. I think we have a better front office than the Browns do to be able to make that turnaround within a year and a half. I think by midtime next year, like, we might go under 500 by halftime, like by the midway next year. But I think after the midway next year, you're going to see a Denver Broncos team who's got a consistency and it's got an identity.
Love it, man. I love the optimism. I'm right there with you. I agree. It's just going to take time and patience. And that's where throwing in new quarterbacks or doing this or doing that, you're not fixing anything. You're putting tape over, a massive leak, and saying, cool, yeah, that's good now. And then get surprised when it doesn't work, like, oh, they still suck. It must be, let's blame the next guy. Let's blame the coach, let's blame the GM. Let's blame the owners, until everyone's gone. You're like, let's start back with the quarterback, So I think we're back at the point where we blamed everyone. Everyone's gone, except basically George Payton, who I do think after this year will be gone. But now, you go back to the quarterback and the coach. And so it's just this cycle of, we've got to stick with someone. We've got to let them build their own team, their own culture. And Jared, you're right on, man. John, David, what do you think?
I was going to say this real quick, David. I think I'm going to lead into this for you because me and David, we've talked about this on the pregame podcast, is like this cyclical like you said, the Band-Aids of everything. Yeah, I know I'm confused too. The Band-Aids on everything is bad because like over time, like obviously, okay, so our edge rushes were really good. We had Von Miller for a long time, and so we built up some other places, and we didn't build a backing behind Von Miller, and then Von Miller goes, and now we have issues at edge. And then we're one quarterback away. We're one defense away. We're one defensive rusher away. We're one quarterback away. We're one coach away. We're always one for the past 7 years. We've always been one big right now, let's be honest, we're one defensive coordinator away. Are we though?
No.
Like, are we? And so now
No.
at this point, you have to like David is, and I'm going to lead David into it. We should have did this 4 years ago.
Absolutely. Tear it down.
Wait, David, did you want to say something?
Yes. Thank you, Kev. And I mean, John.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Anyway,
Tip of the hat to you, good sir.
Absolutely.
Anytime, buddy.
So I just
take your time.
Oh, I'm on it. I think that if you are going to start anywhere, though, it's going to be with the quarterback, right? And this is why I've been advocating, and Andrew said it earlier, that we can't, that you can get an offensive lineman, you can get a defensive lineman, you can build through the trenches in the draft as well. And you can. But, Jared, you brought up the example of the Cleveland Browns, and I think it's a really good one because they've got the good defense and they've got the offensive line with a bunch of studs on it. And they've got a team who hasn't made it past the first or second round of the playoffs since Baker Mayfield was the quarterback. And Baker Mayfield's been on 3 teams since then. And the guy, the free agent they brought in to solve all their problems and gave a guaranteed contract to, has been hot garbage for them. And that's why I think if you get this opportunity at the end of the season with a high draft pick, you go, right? You do it. You take the opportunity and you go for the quarterback, and you do, because you guys are both right. Kevin and Jared are both right. The huge problems on this team that are not just about the quarterback, and you've got to draft everywhere, including the offensive line, including the defensive line. You've got to start from the bottom up at basically every position. But I think we've never seen this team draft a quarterback really high and then try to build around that and try to make the whole plan around that with a coach like you guys were saying, that they've got a plan to keep this guy for the long term. He's going to be the architect of this team. We really, it just hasn't happened in that order. And I think we've got to at least see what that looks like, because every other method that we've tried has just not worked.
John, what do you think?
It really hasn't. Like, since the Super Bowl, we have blamed it on this person and that person and this person. That is usually the head coach, right? And it's like we've gotten to a point where it's like this team is just hot garbage. Like, it is hot garbage. And we just have to accept that. And Kevin has made this statement. I'm pretty sure Jared, I'm pretty sure all of us have made this statement. That we just have to embrace the suck, but we have to commit to it. And we have never committed to it since the Super Bowl. And I know I'm just making Kevin so happy right now by making this statement, but like, we can't give up games. We still have to try in games. We have to make it look competitive, and we should be competitive, and we should try to win games. But because you can't always trade up, you can't always do these other things in the meantime. But and that's important because you're losing the focus there. If we just say we're going to lose the rest of the season, like, what the players that are going to remain on the team after the season, what does that build? That builds absolute zero confidence for them. That builds zero. They're just dead going into the next season. So you can't just say lose every game, guys, because we are going to suck so that we get this one guy that's going to all of a sudden make us the best team in the league. That's not going to happen.
No.
And no one's expecting that, but I don't accept the fact that we could just lose games on purpose. And I don't think Sean Payton's that way from everything I've read. But I don't know what you guys are all laughing at. And that's
the comments
right now. Just keep going. You got it. You're on a roll.
You guys are fucking.
No, you're on a fucking roll, John.
It's always me. It's always me.
I'm muted because I didn't want to interrupt the awesomeness you're saying.
I had a runway, and the runway got cut off because of you guys. I don't know what you guys said.
You guys,
Broncos
I was
should do better.
keeping my
Broncos
cool.
should do
Kevin
better.
could not control it.
How about that?
True, Kevin. You really
Kevin, you really,
that one.
really railroaded him there.
Yeah.
But you gotta go back to the comment.
Okay.
Hold on.
Joey's.
This is the comment. Joey B says, if Jared shows up to the next show with that hat, a baguette, and a bottle of wine, that would attract the MILF audience to the show. And Ashley's response was, conduct her. See, John? That's why Kevin couldn't control himself.
I couldn't. I tried real hard.
This is perfect. Okay, Ashley, well done.
Well done, Ashley.
I had a full fucking soapbox I wanted to go on. We let Jared go on a soapbox earlier, and you have completely destroyed it. And I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you.
I respect it.
John.
John, you were killing it, man. I got to be honest.
Sorry,
You
dude.
were going.
I feel like I was actually making point. Usually when you guys stop and laugh at me, it's because I'm drunk and can't finish a sentence.
Oh no, these were good points, and Kevin could not control himself.
You had it, and then you lost it. No.
We'll get you here in a sec, John. But
Look
really
at
quickly,
me. Look at me. Look at what this has done to me.
right? Lisa, how you doing? Glad you're here. Hey, everyone. We're going to wrap up here in a second, share our closing thoughts, but do remember that we have a ton of Orange Weekly and Broncos content for y'all here. And make sure you're following us on our YouTube channel. I'll pull up the link there. If you want to make sure that your comments do go through on the shows and that we see your name and everything every time, YouTube is the way to go. So please go over and watch us there. That way you're also getting the daily content that we post up there as well. We also got the game day shows, Tailgate Talk and the Halftime Hash shows. Make sure you check that out, as well as the pregame tailgate and the postgame podcast, pregame podcast and postgame podcast. There we go. We got those on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, wherever you listen to your podcast. You can check it out there as well. But let's get to some closing comments here as we wrap up the show. And again, thank you everybody for tuning in, from Joey and Ashley and the other Ashley, and let's see, like I said, Lisa's here, and Brad, Clayton. Thank you for all the stars and donations today, man. Definitely appreciate it. Josh, Keith, and everybody else who I didn't mention just because we don't have time for it. You guys are fantastic. So, Jared, here we are, man. We're 1-5 going up against the Green Bay Packers in Denver on Sunday. What do you think, man?
We are 1-5 going against an NFL team on a Sunday. I think we are a losing team going up against an NFL team on a Sunday is going to be the rest of my comments for the rest of the year. I think it is difficult. That's the dead inside. Oh, I'm going to go through all three. Okay, so that's dead inside. Optimistic. No, let's go angry.
I wasn't prepared for
angry.
Yeah, so, okay, that was dead inside. Angry Jared says, this is all terrible. We need to sell the farm. Like, this is legit. Like, we need to sell a lot of people. I think there's nobody safe on this team except for maybe Pat Surtain. And our running backs, I think Javonte is probably pretty safe. McLaughlin, undrafted rookie, he's pretty safe at this point. But other than that, I think there's a lot of people on this that there's going to be a tough times ahead. And it's because we deserve it. And what we're playing and what we're doing is we kind of deserve it in that aspect. Optimistic is once we do sell the farm, I do think, and I said it on the soapbox, I think we're about a year and a half, 1 year, I'd say from now, we are going to be looking back. We're going to be in probably a similar situation where we're not winning a lot, but we're like, hey, we can see some like good things happening, which right now we don't. Like, there's not a lot right now that we see that's like, this is obviously getting better since the beginning of the year. Like, no. So obviously that we're going to be there at this time next year. And I think at the second half of next year, we're going to really see a team that's come together, being on the same page, gelling, Ayla. Ooh. And we're going to see a team that we are proud of, that we are happy to go watch and proud to continue wearing our Broncos gear around our friends without getting 70 to 20 jokes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which, really quickly, by the way, props to the guy out here in Denver. I don't know if you guys saw the article who did his Halloween decorations.
Oh, that was pretty cool.
In the form of like the Broncos nightmares.
pretty relevant.
It was really the best part of it was the skeleton that was over the vat or whatever.
Puking.
I was like, that is phenomenal. So I got to go check that out. We might try to get a quick interview of with him or something. The owners, just because that was ingenious. But awesome, Jared. John, over to you, man.
Yeah, I mean, look. Closing thoughts. This is a 1-5 team versus.
Okay, Jared.
What?
You and Jared just started off the same exact way.
Same way. I love it. We're on the same page, John. It's okay. It's okay that we're on the same page and Kevin's not. It's been that way the whole season.
Would you like me to continue my thoughts there?
No.
I'll go ahead and mute myself. There we go.
This is a 1-5 team going against a 2-3 team. Like, this is not a complete loss of a game going into it. Now, what team shows up? I don't know with this team. The Packers have had a week to prepare, not 4 days to prepare like the Chiefs did. So will they figure out this defense and learn how to exploit it? Will the Broncos in these 10 days figure out how to not look that bad on offense against this Packers defense? So it'll be interesting. I am excited because I'll be there. I go back to what we talked about in the beginning. Can we not just exploit our passing? Like we are running the ball so well in all these games. Why can we not have a better passing game? Can we not just do that better? I would like to see that for once.
That's fair.
Absolutely.
Totally agree. David, man.
Yep. So if you guys decide to embrace the suck, and I get it, that's a terrible life. It's a little bit lonely. It's bleak, but at least you guys can enjoy, if you're a fan of other Denver sports, the Nuggets coming back 1 week from tonight. The Avalanche already started 2-0, playing again this evening. They both look good. So there are other things to take away some of the suck if the Broncos just go through the rest of the season and are awful. So you can embrace that and have some good in your life. If you're only a Broncos fan, I don't know what to tell you.
So we're gonna break unless the Nuggets can go back to back or the Avalanche can come out and win. We're gonna break the streak. We have 2 championships in the last 2 years. I think we're gonna break it this year. I don't think we'll see. I have high hopes for the Avalanche.
Yep.
Obviously the Nuggets did very good last year. Let's see if they can repeat, but
we'll see. Interesting times here in Denver.
Indeed.
Well, guys, we are at the end of the show, so I do, again, appreciate everybody tuning in. Look, for me, bottom line is we've seen enough, I think, glimmers of hope from all aspects of the team that if they are able to put it together, we could go out there, and I'm not going to say we're going to win handily, but we could essentially control the game, put us in a very good position early on. So it's just a matter of what they decide to do. Are they going to execute? Are they going to prepare? Are they going to adjust? And if they don't, then we know what's going to happen. But either way, I'm excited to see, again, hopefully we see more from Mims. I'm excited to see more from Noji. And hopefully we can get that offense rolling like you were talking about, John. But John, funny thought from you? Anything else?
Well, what happened to Jared's tanning solution?
Oh, thank you. I forgot. Everybody, Jared has to. I have to stop the music. Jared, I promised everybody what is the secret to the tanning solution or tanning lotion and everything for Muscle Man competitions.
It's 1 part baking powder, 1 part vanilla extract, and 2 parts water, 2 parts white wine vinegar. Just smother it on everywhere. Let it bubble. let it bubble, and then you do the paint. Also, don't do real tanning. The paint on tanning is much better.
Yes.
Also, if you guys want a funny story at the end of all of this, I have legit done, and I love how you call it muscle man competitions. I have done bodybuilding competitions, and at one point I had to do it on the ship, and I had a fellow shipmate. This is everyone. You're gonna love the Navy joke here. I had a fellow shipmate have to shave my back in berthing because I needed to be fully shaved for it, and he still calls me out to this day that he had to shave my back in berthing on a duty day because I had a show the next day, and he shaved it, and then he helped me self-tan. It was great. I loved every second of it, and that's your Navy story for the day.
Remember when you put a picture of yourself from the competition up on Facebook, and my phone linked all of my Facebook contacts to my phone with their profile pictures, and I still have the Jared.
Oh yeah, baby!
Picture.
Let's go!
Okay.
Let's go!
Again, we're gonna end on that.
Yeah, yeah. Why not? Hey guys, this is Bourbon Broncos and No BS. We are gonna end it there, as we always do, on a very strong Go Broncos!
Go Broncos!